All right. Yeah, we are. We got a couple questions very quickly. Zach kicked off the series. Good job, dude. It was awesome, man. It was really cool.
Kicking them off.
You like kicking them off?
Yeah.
Is it no pressure?
It's less pressure. I can just throw things out there and let you guys solve it all.
Solve it all. That's exactly right. That's good. All right. Well, we did have a couple questions. Let's do the one between services, and then we'll do this one.
All right.
So we had somebody asked a question between services. Zach, you talked a little bit about that gap between knowing and learning in terms of creating opportunities to learn. I think some people are just curious, like what. Give us some more examples of what that looks like, because it is a hard thing to teach and teach and teach.
Yeah.
But we don't create opportunities for them to learn it on their own.
Right.
Then they have to bridge that gap. That's not something you can force.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'll speak just experientially.
Why don't you speak about your life? Yeah.
Because as I said in the sermon, that I had great parents.
Yeah.
They invested. We went to church every time the doors were open.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything wrong. As far as teaching goes.
Yeah.
But because there was a gap there that until I personally learned and had a knowledge and an experience with God, in my own way.
Right.
And for me that took years.
Yeah.
I spent a good portion of my late teens and 20s just doing whatever. And I'm sure my parents were like the question of I did everything right.
Yeah.
Took him to church, taught him. Bought him Bible every summer, every Christmas, took him to youth camps. And so for them, I think it just became a matter of faith.
Yeah.
And I can speak to that personally because my mom, we grew up in a very charismatic church.
Yes.
But her faith led her to take these things called prayer cloths.
Prayer what?
Prayer cloths.
Cloths, yeah.
Cloth, like a cloth.
Yeah.
And she would anoint it and pray over it. Ultimately, all she would pray is that God help him find his way to you.
Yeah.
And she would put it under the seat of my car. She would put it under my mattress. She would put it everywhere.
Way to go, Mom. That's awesome.
She didn't beat me over the,
the
head. And that all played a role.
But
that
cool.
revealed her faithfulness.
That totally revealed. I agree with you. Yeah.
God can do this.
Dude, that's absolutely true.
Even when I can't, God can.
That's awesome.
And I know that sounds like a very churchy, hokey answer of,
that's
you just got to have faith and you got to believe. But
that's awesome.
But I'm a true believer in seeds will produce a harvest.
Right.
At some point.
And in addition to that, when you said create opportunities, all I could think about was, even as a church, when we create some of the opportunities to serve in student ministry, to do some of the things in student ministry, we kind of make a shift where they're corporately worshiping with us, they're doing stuff. And part of that is because we know that if they don't make their faith their own, that that's the opportunity they have to do. They have to learn not just information anymore, but just how's it going to affect their life.
Yeah.
I think about the same thing. There's lots of opportunities, even as a church, to create those opportunities. But I love that your mom did that, dude. That's that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
It worked.
It
totally worked.
Sticks,
yeah. Maybe not as quick as she wanted, but All right, the other question that came in was really just more about to adult parents, parents of adult children. As a former teenager who abandoned my relationship with God at 16 and found my way back to church to God at 26, so there's a 10-year window there. Yeah. What do you say to parents of young adults who have left the church? So parents of young adults who have left the church.
Again, similar to the last answer is there's a level of faithfulness there, but I'll tell you a phrase that's stuck with me as a parent, and even as somebody who works at a church, is that ultimately we have a responsibility to them, to our children, to teach, to model, to show them obedience.
Right.
That's our responsibility, but we're not held responsible for them.
Right.
That you have to believe they're their own person, that they become accountable for their own actions, for those kind of things, and as that happens, you have to just have that level of faith that God's going to do what you can't, that he's going to teach what you can't, that he's going to reveal what you could never reveal.
I think
it's so hard.
When parents look at another adult and they say, you know what, some water, or some plant the seed, some water, but God gives the increase. I think even as a parent, sometimes as adults, we can look at another adult and go, well, we're just trusting in God that God will change their heart and bring them back.
Right.
But when it's your kid, you wear all the weight thinking it's on you. And I agree with you that to a reality, when you begin to understand that your kids are their own person, their own created person, and that God loves individually and views individually, that it's not an extension of you. You're right. Our responsibility is to teach and sow. Yeah. But the reality is that no matter whether it's 4 years old or 16 or 26, the God gives the increase, right? God gives the increase. That's what matters.
Yeah.
And so I look at it and go, you're right. I think there's an aspect of faithfulness of prayer. And, that's wisdom, man, because the reality is it's hard for parents. They want to wear the weight. I get it.
I'm telling you, as I said
Your parents
earlier.
did.
And as I said earlier, and I've only been at this 7 years, but it's the hardest job I've
been
ever
at
had.
13 years. You've been at
it's
7 years.
It's the hardest job.
Don on our staff is the one that's around the corner. He just took his first daughter to college. They just dropped her off for college this week. So that's a whole another realm and world, man. So, we're definitely I liked it when you said in the first service as well, like there's a pro level. You're not at the pro level.
Yeah, I'm not there.
My brain went, is there a pro level?
I don't even think I'm semi-pro, you know?
That's right. All right, well, we look forward to having this conversation over the next couple weeks. Matter of fact, this Tuesday, we have we're going to be recording and doing live podcasts. We'll be recording a podcast to go out later this week, but it'll be on Facebook Live. Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock if you want to dial in and ask some questions in. We ask you our whole next-gen ministry will be a part of it. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for sending the questions in.
See you next week.